I'm Crystal Kakis, and this is my informative speech on the West Nile virus. And this is my audience.
Hello.
Due to the location we live in, Wisconsin, with such a huge population of mosquitoes, I have decided to choose the topic of the West Nile virus for my speech. I'm sure no human that lives within Wisconsin is a stranger to the blood-sucking insect mosquito. The little insects that fly where they please with no license to draw blood from a warm-blooded human and leave a red bump that we try to convince others it's not a pimple. The main discussion of my speech will begin with what the West Nile virus is and its history, then how the victims of the mosquitoes received the West Nile virus, the effects of the virus, and ending with the treatment options the victim could proceed. The West Nile virus is an infectious disease that is emerging. It was first discovered in the African country of Uganda in 1937. Since 1937, the West Nile virus has spread beyond its traditional boundaries, causing illness in birds, horses, and in humans in Europe and now United States. The West Nile virus was first found in U.S. in New York City in the fall of 1999. Since 1999, the virus has spread across the United States to the Pacific Ocean, into several Canadian provinces, and possibly into Mexico. The West Nile virus was also found 2 years later in Michigan and has been detected each following year since. The West Nile virus is a mosquito-borne virus. The mosquitoes become infected with the virus once they bite or take blood meal from a bird carrying the West Nile virus. Once the mosquito bites another bird, the virus is transmitted to that bird. Birds in the enzootic cycle are resistant to disease and serve to maintain the virus. A bridge vector mosquito, one who feeds on birds and mammals, is the one that essentially takes the virus out of the enzootic cycle, transmitting the virus to a horse, human, or other mammal. Research has shown that the virus can be transmitted from bird to bird by oral or cloacal, the common cavity into which the intestinal, urinary, and generative canals open in birds, reptiles, amphibians, many fishes, and certain mammals, secreting contaminating water and food. The virus can also be passed by eating the infected birds, but the most efficient and occurring route of transmission is by mosquito. In 2002, CDC confirmed 4 additional routes of transmission that include infection through transplanted organs, transplacental mother-to-child breastfeeding, and blood transfusion. The most common mosquito to transmit the virus is the Culex sp. When the virus circulating amongst the birds is high, people and horses are susceptible to accidental infection through the bite of an infected mosquito. Humans are considered to be the dead-end host of the virus, because when they have transmitted with the disease, the person is unable to produce enough of the virus in their blood to infect biting mosquitoes. There is still no evidence that horses, people, or other animals can transmit the virus through normal contact. Once a human has been bitten by an infected mosquito, it takes between 3 to 14 days from the period in which they were bitten to see clinical signs. Most people who become infected with the West Nile virus seem to have either no symptoms or mild flu-like symptoms. The mild flu-like symptoms last for a few days, consisting of fever, fatigue, headache, body aches, swollen lymph nodes, and or body rash. And some people, such as elderly or people with health problems, are more susceptible to having a more severe case causing neurological damage and can be fatal. And 1 in 150 people obtain the more severe infections called the West Nile virus encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain. West Nile virus meningitis, which is inflammation of the membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord, or the West Nile virus meningoencephalitis, inflammation of the brain and surrounding the membrane. The symptoms that occur during a severe case can last several weeks and end up leaving permanent brain damage. The symptoms include headache, high fever, stiff neck, disorientation, stupor, tremors, seizures or convulsions, paralysis, muscle weakness, loss of consciousness, which is coma, and or death. There is no effective treatment for the infection. Since the infection is a virus, antibiotics are useless. It is aimed at improving the symptoms, but doesn't shorten the course of the illness. The main treatment concerns of the virus is lowering the fever, avoiding dehydration, decreasing brain swelling, or dealing with the loss of breathing activity. In the case is severe, the person may require hospitalization. With our high population of mosquitoes in our living area, it is a good idea to keep up with the information regarding the West Nile virus. Now having the knowledge of the history, effects, and treatment of the West Nile virus, a human should take precautions when being in a mosquito-infested area. Most people accumulate over 50 mosquito bites over a summer's period, and one of those bites may consist of the virus, leading to your death. I think you should think twice about going outside in a mosquito season without insect repellent. Now I'm going to show you some of my charts that I had found, which this is a map of the United States, and it shows you the areas in which the virus is at risk. These black little dots are infected crows within the area. These gray areas are places where there is no data. The green is there's no risk in those areas or a very low risk, as well as the yellow and orange. When you get into the red, it's where you should be precautious in those areas. And then I also have another map of the United States. This indicates human disease cases, and it shows you the statistics of the numbers of how many cases they had found, whereas Wyoming 375, for Wisconsin was 17, and then for the yellow one, which seems to be only Maryland, is the avian, animal, or mosquito infections. And then here is a picture of the mosquito that you should watch out for, which is the Culex SP.